Alright guys, I'm just going to show you a quick update on this video. I actually filmed quite a bit yesterday, lost all the footage. So, back at it today. What I did yesterday is I set this crank in here and, put the bearings in, put the journals on, and I used, with these 22R Toyota motors, you use the green plasti gauge. And what you do is you take a piece of this, place like so, and this is how you've got to bolt your journals on down to spec, and this is how you measure your oil gaps. So what I did yesterday is I did that for the crankshaft. Under each one of these, I used that plastic gauge, and they were all within spec. So then you have to take your journals back off, and of course put assembly lube, then put them back on permanently. So I did the crank yesterday, then I swapped over to here. I did the camshaft, same thing, plastic gauge on this journal, the middle journal, and then down at the end. And of course, bolted these on. These don't get the bearings like the cam and or the crank rather. The crank get bearings much like this. These here are for the pistons. So tested all these out. This one's ready to put assembly lube and then bolt these on permanently. But what I'm doing now, I got the number 1 piston in. Got my plastic gauge sitting up there. And what I will do, I got the bearing in there. No oil, no nothing. The only plate, at this point, all I've done is I put oil on the cylinder and I've put oil on the piston rings. And that's just because you got to slide those in. I'm trying to get that plastic gauge right smack dab up there on top. Much like that. And then I got to pair up this bearing. These are, you can't just interchange them. They are directional. And with these have that little notch at the top there, but not on the other side. Another way to look, and it's not going to show up, but I have a number stamped there and a number 1 stamped there. So what I'm going to do is I'll tighten this down to spec, pull it off, and with my gauge here, I will measure the thickness of that plastic gauge and see if we have the proper oil clearance. If I do, or if it's okay, then what you do is you pull this off, this journal back off. You got to make sure you get the plastic gauge off both mating surfaces, and then I'll put assembly lube on it. Bam, put this one back together. And then we'll put this one to top dead bottom and put the number 2 piston in, then to the number 3, then to the number 4, doing them all the same. And then we'll spin it by hand, make sure there's no binding, and then we're on to the next step. So I just wanted to show you a little sample of this plastic gauge since I lost all that video yesterday. So there we are. You can see how it spread out, and according to the manual, it's supposed to be 0.02 to 0.05. So we're smack dab right in the middle. So we are good. I'll clean this plastic gauge off and get it off the journal bearing. And then we'll place some assembly lube and go on to the next one. Alright, there it's 6. I got everything bolted in. getting pretty heavy with everything in there, especially for my poor little kitchen table. Yes, I do own a motor stand, but it already has an engine on it, so I don't feel like buying a second engine stand. Got the camshaft set, just got this sitting up there. Got new head bolts. I never reuse head bolts. So basically, the next step is to get this out to the dirty shop, and work on putting all the timing stuff, the timing chain, that kind of stuff on, and get the head bolted up. I got my pulley, this is where the throwout bearing goes. Finally got that out. I used to always fill them full of oil, or not oil, but grease. And then I'd take a dowling that barely fit inside the bearing and hit it with a hammer, and it's always popped that bearing out. But this time it blew the head of the bearing out, so then the grease was just coming out. Never had that happen. So I actually went down to the auto store, rented, well actually it's for free, but got a pulley puller and pulled it out. So I'll get the throwout bearing put in there. I did get a whole new clutch for this thing. Believe everything I have, already. I gotta get new spark plugs. I'll probably throw new spark plug wires, new oil filter, that kind of thing. But there it sits. I've been working on cleaning the oil pan. I gotta take a wire wheel to the outside, prime it and paint it. So that is not ready to put on. But you can't put or it makes it very hard. If you go ahead and put the oil pan on, it makes it extremely hard to get your timing chain, and everything. So at least that's what I'm told. So there it sits. Got to figure out if I can actually carry this thing clear to my shop. I chose to rebuild it in here because my shop is cold. It's currently snowing outside. And my shop is completely and utterly full. It's got the Toyota in there. It's got snowmobiles and just a ton of crap. So that's as far as I got. Fun little project. All right, I know the lighting's terrible, but this is what I did today. Is you can kind of see where I put those patches in. Seam sealed, that's why it kind of looks crappy, as I spread that crap on heavy. And then I just went up, kind of taped off, nothing fancy, and I sprayed the entire floor with, it's that pickup truck bed liner. So, taped it off, sprayed it. And that's 2 coats. I got one more can, but as you can kind of see down there, it's kind of wet in there. So I'm waiting for it to kind of dry. Before the day's done, I'm going to spray another third and final, probably another 2 coats on here. Then what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put carpet back in here. I'm going to put just a rubber floor mat on either side. And that's all. I mean, I think if it didn't have carpet in the first place, it wouldn't have rusted out. And you can see that's still pretty wet there. And in there, oh, you can still see some blue coming through that. So, because as soon as I get this done, I can get the seats back in here, get all the interior that I have put back in, put the back window in. Still waiting on trying to find some skylight parts. That's proving to be very difficult. So I need some skylight parts and missing a windshield. But I think for major parts, that's about it. I've got to try to find some place to order a windshield. And it's pretty cold here up in northern Idaho, so to spray that floor and keep it, or to help get it to dry. I've had this fire going forever, all day. Well, guys, that's pretty much it. Poor Toyota sits here, crowded with snowmobiles wherever I can fit them. So till next time.